This quality is so not great. Yo, why is it so pixely? That's so okay. Wait, hold on. Put my candle in the background. Oh my god, cute. I'm gonna light. I'm gonna light some incense. Right here, we have sandalwood. So, yeah, that's pretty nice. It smells really good. Okay. So I got something on my mind. I got something on my mind. I'm going into this ready for a conversation with myself, I guess. Okay, here's the situation. So I was just talking to my friend about just like she told me I guess it was kind of like just like a realization she had, and people that are afraid to be single are really just afraid being alone. And I was like, yeah, totally. I totally can see that and I can understand that. And I can even reflect on times where I'm like, oh, like, want a boyfriend or something, or just like want somebody around. And it was just like because I didn't want to be alone, which is like fine. And I can understand not wanting to be alone, but like, but I can also like, being alone is so wonderful when you like, it's just about you. How much better, how much like, how much better could it get when it's just about you? You know what I mean? Like, we are selfish by nature. I love to talk about myself. I love when people ask me questions about myself. Of course, of course. So when it's you just hanging out with you, and you only have to be concerned with what you want to do, and with what you want to eat, and what you want to watch, and what you want to do with your time, and if you just want to sit and be a bum all day, or if you want to go over there, or if you want to go over there, like, and you don't have to ask anybody, it's just about what you want to do. Like, how is that not the funnest thing ever? You know, like, that's, you just don't have to be like, oh, are you okay? No, because it's just like, what I want to do, I want to do this. Done. I don't have to make sure everyone else is about it. I don't have to consider anyone else's feelings, because it's just, you only have to consider your feelings, which is so much easier than having to take care of your own and somebody else's, you know? So, like, yeah, dude. And then I was saying how, like, okay, so if um people are afraid to be alone, why are they afraid to be alone? And like, why are so many people afraid of that and have tried to avoid it through other people, or through drugs, or like through any sort of coping mechanism that they use to get out the other thing? Why? And I think it's because most people have an a very surface level idea of who they think they are. Yeah. So, because if you knew who you were, you wouldn't have to be afraid. You wouldn't have to be afraid of people leaving you. And you wouldn't have to rely on people to tell you what you need to hear. Because if you're already doing all those things for yourself, then when you add someone else to your life, to your little circle, then you can pour all your love into them, because the the love that you're giving to yourself, when that starts to overflow, then you can give it to your partner with no sort of like expectations for something back. It's just like, oh, my cup's overflowing and I want to give that extra to you. And like, instead of asking you to give me what's in your cup so I can put it in my cup, fuck that. No, I want you to keep what's in your cup. I want to keep what's in my cup, and let's just share our extras together. And then, yeah, like, so I feel like this. So, who are you? Who are you? That's my favorite question, I think, ever. And I continue to ask myself that all the time. And like, I just love it. It's so grounding and it's so grounding. Who are you? I think the best way, one of the best ways to go about this question is to kind of name the things that you think you are. So that usually is like your body parts. So you're like, I'm not my hands, I'm not my feet, I'm not my legs, I'm not this head, I'm not this hair, I'm not the clothes I wear, I'm not the things I do, I'm not my personality, I'm not the things other people tell me I am. I'm not my heart, I'm not my organs, I'm not my skin, I'm not my eyes, and I'm not my brain. I think I think I am the thing that is aware of all those things that I just named. And I think that's what we call awareness, or consciousness, or spirit, or your soul. It's the witness to everything that's happening. And I think that's who we really are. Because I think when you ask people that, just like, I think if I ever just were to go out and ask people, like, who are you? They'll tell me what their name is. Or they'll tell me, like, what their occupation is, like, what they do. Or, like, they'll tell me where country they were born in. Or they'll tell me, what, what, what race they're a part of or something. You know what I mean? Like, something that's just socially a social construct. And it's like, no, like, I get it, like, when if we're talking within sort of the matrix and I need to sort of like get your file or something, okay, then like, who are you? Sure, yes, you're John Jones, cool, from fucking Idaho. Like, that's the role you're playing. Okay, yeah, and I get that. That's how we need to, that's the switch, that's the distinction that we need to learn to make, is that you're not the player, you're here acting the role of whatever your name is, and your character has a list of like kind of who they are, where they grew up, what their interests are, who their parents are, blah blah blah. That's a role that you play the same way that an actor plays a role in a movie. You know that they're playing a role, but you know who they really are is different than the role that they're playing. And I think a lot of us are have gotten that very deeply confused and have identified with the role instead of who they really are. Which I can understand, because it's like getting lost. We're lost in the game. We're lost in the play. Lost in the movie. It's like when you watch a really 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 good movie, and like get emotional over the movie and you feel for the characters and you're like, oh no, like I hope they don't die, or like, oh no, like that person hurt that person, I'm gonna cry, kind of thing. And like going into a movie, you know it's not real. But Alan Watts says this, and I love it because it's true and it's so weird. At some level, you know it's not real, but somehow you make it real enough in your head so that you can put your emotions in it and kind of go on the roller coaster with it of whatever movie it is you're watching. If you want to feel scared, if you want to cry, or if you want to feel any sort of way, there's a movie for it, you know? So, in the same way of what's going on now, like, and that's what we're all doing. We're in the movie and we're playing our roles. Some people took it way too fucking far, though, and they took it way too seriously and started to not make it fun anymore. And now the movie isn't fun. Or we're at the best part of the movie, we're at the climax, and this is where shit hits the fan. But it's kind of the best part of the movie because this is what makes the movie good. So I don't know. Perspective is what I'm trying to offer. You don't have to get all riled up because it's not real. And I know, I guess that's kind of fucked to say to like anyone who's kind of going through it, just to tell them it's not real. But it's not meant to be insensitive. It's not saying your pain isn't real, because your pain is real. Suffering is one of the most realest things that we experience here, you know? So those things are all real, but to also know that it's just a game there's some relief in that. At least for me, there's relief in that, because then you don't have to take it seriously. Then there's kind of an element of fun allowed in it, almost expected. You don't play a game to be like, I need to work hard during this game and you take it seriously and this is a big deal. Like, you don't want to play with that kid. Nobody wants to play with that kid. Fuck that guy. Like, fuck that guy though. You know, like I want to play with the person that also understands it's a game but knows how to have fun within the game, and like, you know, and then someone that's not a sore loser that can respect the players in the game. And another analogy I really like is it being a play. And you know, everyone has their time on stage where you kind of present your role and you do your thing, and then at some point your script ends. You know, it doesn't go on forever. You would not want a script that would go on forever, an infinite script, and they're like, here you go, and you'd be like, I don't want this. No. Nobody wants to live forever. Nobody. I don't think that's true. You think you might. It's the ego that wants to live forever. In some sense, you do already live forever, but it's not the you that you think you are, and that distinction needs to be made. That's so crucial to understanding literally anything, you know? And I can't believe this isn't just like common information that's just out there. I can't believe that. I cannot believe that. I wish I could just go into people's brains and just be like, here's like the manual. Here's the info on how to deal with your machine, with your mechanics, you know, and like how to give you some context of what is supposed to be going on, what you're supposed to be doing here, because I feel like we've just swung so far that we don't even know what we are anymore. Which is like, that's part of the fun. It is part of the fun. But it's also feels hard and stressful. But luckily, it's not real. I sound crazy, but I promise it's not. Or maybe it is, and that's okay too. Because who's to say what we're doing, what we believe in now isn't crazy? Maybe it's all crazy. Who's to say? Who's to say? But yeah, I think that's kind of all I gotta say. That's a lie. I got so much to say. I got literally so much to say. But that's kind of the biggest, that's probably the biggest thing. I feel like that information could heal the world. I'm not even exaggerating, and it sounds so dramatic and huge. But I think that type of understanding of yourself is very extremely profound and will switch and shift things inside of you that you didn't even know that were there. That it's things that you're not going to expect, and it changes the way that you see life and understand it, and then that changes ultimately what you do and how you react. And like, there's a quote, and I don't remember who says it, but it kind of goes along about the lines of like, the world doesn't change. It's 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 our consciousness that changes the world. So if most people, if majority of people are thinking that they're this thing that they're really not, then of course we're living in such a state of chaos. Like, of course, if we're all going around, running around thinking we're one thing when we're not, like, that's gonna cause so much problems. And that's why we gotta start from there. We gotta start from the bottom. We can't just be like trying to solve like a 20 bajillion problems at once. Because how are we supposed to solve all these things when the foundation isn't even set yet? Like, it's trying, literally, literally what's going on is like, it's like we're all trying to, so like the planet is a house or something, and we're all like, we're trying to fix the roof, and we're like, you know what, if we all we gotta do is just like figure out this roof situation, and then we'll be okay, then we'll be fine. When when the floor is just like literally crumbling, and it's pretending that we're fixing it by fixing the roof, and it's like, no, we have to start from the bottom. Starting from the bottom is what so we're trying to do all these things. What is the thing that's trying to do all these things? And that's what we got to be looking at. So looking at ourselves. And I think we're not doing that right now, because it's fucking dark. That's why. It's looking back at all the shit we've done to ourselves and to the planet and to each other. It's dark. It's our shadow, and it is not comfortable. And it doesn't feel good to be reminded of all the damaging things that you've done, you know, and what we've all collectively done, and then having to take responsibility for it is hard. But it's hard, but it isn't as hard as living with it forever and just letting the destruction keep on destructioning, and just like, and the pain just getting more painful, and the suffering becomes more um not as tolerable, I guess. I think it's really hard for people to accept responsibility, and especially responsibility for things that have gone wrong. Of course, no one wants to take responsibility of things that have gone wrong, but we need to be humble enough to admit that that's what happened, and like that's okay. That's okay, because then when you do that, then you can move on to the next step, and then you can move on to the next step towards wherever you're trying to go. Of course it's global. Of course, this is a global issue. Like, as in regards to the virus, but also in regards to like the the human heartbreak that's going on within our human family. You know, I'm so tired of seeing each other as separate. Like, I am over it. I'm so over identifying each other by what we look like and we're our like nationalities as if that's a real thing. Like, I am over it. I wanna when I see you, I see me. Like, I see the thing that's behind your eyes, because I've recognized the thing that's behind my eyes, and I also see it in you, and I see it in everything else. I see it in all the animals, and I can feel that there's something bigger going on than just me, and I can see it within other people, and like that just makes me want to give everyone a big old hug, you know? And I just want to just love. I just want to love. It sounds so goofy and like corny, but I want to see other people get into that state, because I feel like that's what we all what I think that's what like feels right. When I was talking about, like, I think what it is that we're awareness, this is very influenced by Ram Dass's teachings, and he calls it your loving awareness. I think awareness is loving, and I do believe that, because it takes in everything. Love doesn't reject anything. Even underneath fear, there's love. You know what I mean? Love is always, always there. This whole universe is made out of love. Like, how everything connects, like, the. Somebody said this, I can't remember who, but it was like the space, what keeps your atoms together is love. Or they said God. Same thing, maybe? Sometimes I think they are. Most of the time I do. I don't know. Those are kind of tricky, but I think so. Yeah. But yeah, dude, like love is really just it sounds so corny, and I hear myself when I say this. I think it sounds corny because it's true, and like it's true. Love is what keeps us together. Love will always prevail. And that's why I'm not worried about what's going on. Like I am and I am not. Like I feel the world's pain, and I want to relieve it of its suffering, but at the same time, like to relieve things out of their suffering is just constantly letting love just explode out of your heart, and like that's all you need to do, and I think that's what we're all really, really good at. And I don't think you need to go to school for that. You don't need a degree in it. You don't need to pay for it. You don't need to do anything for it. It's just there. and an infinite well of love within you always, since the moment you were here, and the moment you leave, it's with you. So yeah, I think that's my little spiel about love. um, it's a big subject that needs to be talked about 100%. Holy shit, do we need to be talking about love? Yeah, just that's it. That's my message. I love you, and uh, I'm. I. This is another Ram Dass quote. Um, and he was sort of talking about, it's not like, what is it? What is it? Let me think. um, he was talking about like when you're in love with somebody, when you say that, it's not like you're in love with that person, but you're in a place of love within yourself with that person. So with that person's in a state of love within them, and you're in a state in love with you. Oh my god, what am I saying? What is it? So when you say that when you're in love with somebody, it's you guys are both in a place of love together. You've both gone into that place of love. And that's where I am. I'm in love. I'm in it. I'm not, doesn't have to be with a person. I'm just in that place. Where all those people that are in love, I'm there with you. Oh my god, that sounds so cheesy. But yo, this is straight up facts. That's where I am, and I don't even care. I hope you're there with me. I hope you're in love with me. Not with me, but it can be with me, of course. Um, but just be in love, cause it's like I think that's where we kind of belong. So